What's up there? It's Scott Oldford, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a preview of the LaunchOS system. Now, obviously, the first time you log in here, it's going to guide you through and show you how everything works. But here is how this platform works. So when you come in, it's going to bring you through the planner, and the planner is essentially going to help you right from the get-go of what launch should I do to formulating the entire thing. From there, after that point, you're going to be able to use this AI launch mentor anytime you want. We're going to go through and I'm going to show you how that all works in a few minutes. After the plan, we're going to go to the calculator so you understand what version of reality we're essentially wanting. Right here, we're going to build the assets. Right here, we're going to review all of it. And then afterwards, this timeline essentially gives you a day-by-day breakdown of the launch, everything that you need to be doing, everything your team needs to be doing. And then the scoreboard allows you to track the data each day. And then finally, the templates allow you to copy the stuff that we know works. And of course, we have a full training platform in here. And instead of doing videos, what we ended up creating is a systematic way to make it so that everything that I've learned about launches, you're able to go through very easily without being in a place where you have to watch like 25-minute videos. And from my experience of teaching entrepreneurs, I think this is going to be much more effective, right? So you can go in here and you can see all the different launch types, right? So this way, when it suggests, let's say, an email-only promotion, you can go in here and you can understand all the parts and pieces. So we're just going to go back, and then, of course, just to add to this, you can create as many launches as you want. So we're going to go home, and we're going to start planning. What describes your audience best right now? Let's just kind of cycle through these. All right, so it says a workshop and live event, and I say, yep, I do want that, but you can always change that. And then it's then going to give me essentially variations of that. And then I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to have limited spots for this. It's going to be for 3 days. It's going to start on the 19th. It's going to end on the 22nd. And then it's going to go and ask me in more depth about my audience. And what this is going to do is essentially understand how warm my audience is, right? Because obviously your launch is going to be different if you have a warm audience versus a non-warm audience. And we're going to do 33%, 27%, 21%, and 10%. So it says essentially my audience is 50 out of 10, or 50 out of 100 score. And then it's going to bring me into my offer price. So I'm going to say this offer is $197 and my revenue goal is $25,000. And this is essentially a probability engine of taking my audience. So this is basically comparing what my goal is versus what's possible, right? Obviously not plausible, but there's a plausibility based upon the data that we have. So then it goes to the next part. And then this is a core text I'm going to say, being able to launch as an entrepreneur. Big idea. This helps you plan your launch in a much better way. Primary belief, I have to figure it out all myself. There's a guided step-by-step process. And as I'm doing this, just so you know, this is still in beta in this current moment, so there's probably going to be some bugs as we go along here. I say the largest part is probably confidence. My emotional arc is I'm going from probably some hesitation and frustration. Let's go frustration. And there's confidence. And this is going to be a little bit more of the guide archetype and a little bit of the authority archetype. This launch is not about creating content for you or not building something that isn't aligned. And then I would say that's commitments that. So this is coherent. So this utilizes my AI platform to essentially create coherence with what you essentially said. The next part is the emotional part of it. So I'm going to say I'm grounded and clear on this. I'm excited. But if I said, pressure to perform, it'll give me a calibration down here to make sure that I am, in an alignment. And I feel regulated. If this launch produces half the revenue, would it still be worth it? Yeah, why not? And I'm going to service over outcome. And I'm choosing to proceed with this launch from clarity, not compulsion. It's important. So I'm going to lock this launch. And what's going to happen now is that it goes and goes to the AI that we've trained based upon launch data, launches, mentorship sessions I've had, all on launches, as well as everything that you said, and basically tells you exactly what you need and exactly what's going to happen. You say, you know what? What's the, and then from there you can ask questions back. What do you think is perhaps the lowest or most conservative number for my audience and audience warmth? Perfect. So the worst case is probably 10K. Oh, 10K. And the beauty of this is that it brings you into reality, because a lot of people aren't brought into reality. And so the intention of this is to be able to make it so that you're able to go at any time, and this launch mentor, in a moment, when I go to proceed, I'm going to be able to come back to this anytime I want. All right? And then say, how might I build this launch to be a 10K minimum launch? What can I do to maximize the conversion rate from what you see? And it goes into it based upon what it is, with some spacing issues, but still in beta. So I'm going to go ahead and commit to this plan. And now it brings up the calculator. And then from the calculator, it's essentially going to allow me to build the conservative, the expected, and the optimistic view of what the numbers look like. And of course, it has order bumps, all those different types of pieces. Then I go to show the conservative. Obviously, it's not going to show me anything in this current moment because I haven't filled it out. I go compare. I go continue to reflection, and then I'm going to essentially lock in which one makes sense based upon my comfort level. So it says, you know what, let's go with the optimistic because that's the one you feel best about. And then we go to the next step. Now, because we didn't complete a prior step, this is where I'm going to have to show you, just simply due to it being a beta. So essentially this is now going to load up all the different things that you need to build. Right? So landing page, thank you page, email sequence, social media post, and essentially going to explain each piece. And then once that's all done, at the end, it's going to allow you to have the launch review that shows you all of this plus the launch assets that are there. Once this is actually done, it brings you into the timeline. Now, assets aren't done, so I can't show you, but the timeline is essentially going to make it so that each day there's literal tasks and things that you have to do that are based upon what the launch is, right? So if it's a low ticket launch, it's different than a webinar launch or whatever it might be. And then once you lock that in, each day, when it knows that you're actually launching, you'll be here in the scoreboard giving hey, how many people came to the webinar? How many people opened the email? And it's going to give you real-time suggestions and recommendations while utilizing all the training platform that is in here. So that's a little bit of the platform, obviously still in beta. And there's little bugs and little things here, but it gives you a view of exactly what we're building, how it's going to work, and I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be able to help you in a pretty massive way.